We're thrilled to be here today with the Honorable Delegate Sean Hornbuckle and a good friend of mine. Super thankful, Sean, to have you join us today to talk a little bit about foster care.
Glad to be here, Greg.
I know that foster care and the foster care crisis in West Virginia is like a huge topic, and I know that you're inundated with a variety of bills. Some are good, some are bad, some are in between, right? But I know that you're a person that's got a little bit of family history with foster care, and you care deeply about it. Maybe tell us a little bit about what you know about foster care and maybe your family experience.
Well, absolutely. I know here in West Virginia right now, as we've seen a troubling trend, a lot of that has to do with the opioid and drug epidemic that we saw and sometimes still see.
Sure.
We also have quickly the most declining population in America. And you couple that with low birth rates, there's always been this issue of people, but also who is caring for these people.
Right.
And so right now we've seen that our system, it's way over capacity. We are probably lead the country, unfortunately, in kids in and out of care. And we desperately need to do something legislatively that deals with reimagining how the financial aspects and pieces of that work, making sure that we have an adequate workforce to be able to care for these children, and then just doing common sense stuff. I mean, there's no reason right now that kids should be, housed in hotels. There's no reason right now, especially in a state like West Virginia, that kids should be housed out in Utah or on the West Coast, right? It just makes no sense. And so I do believe that we have the people that are there that need to step up and are willing to do so to make sure we get some common sense legislation to help all the good folks and folks like you all that are doing their best to make sure that every child has a home. I myself very fortunate enough to come from what I believe, in my opinion, the best family that's ever walked the earth. And part of that was due to uncles and aunts, and one uncle in particular, my Uncle Fred Hornbuckle. The late, great Fred Hornbuckle, a worker here in Huntington, West Virginia, worked at West Virginia Steel, but a lot of people knew him through his basketball intellect. He has probably coached and mentored most of the tri-state, right? I think it's no coincidence when Patrick Patterson lists you as the best and favorite coach he's ever had. Not Gillespie, Calipari, no NBA coaches.
Legendary.
He lists Fred Hornbuckle as his best and favorite. O.J. Mayo lists him as one of his best top two all-time coaches. Again, these are no coincidences, right? But that's just the basketball. He was such a great man, and many that really knew him knew that he was into mentoring, right? And so much so that he was able to foster a good bit of kids over the course of his lifetime.
Incredible.
And really got a lot of folks going in the right direction that didn't have any hope, didn't have a strong household, right, or that support system. And so he was able to take them in, put them on the right path. Just recently, I have a cousin of mine through Uncle Fred, and God rest his father's soul, Buck Garrett, my cousin Daryl Henderson. He always gushes about Uncle Fred, who he calls Opa, who was his second dad in this world, but just, what he did for him. As far as, again, growing up, becoming a man in high school, put him on the right path as far as schooling, giving him an opportunity to play college athletics, just all the things, right? And so it's just really passionate. It's a heartwarming thing when you see anybody across the tri-state willing to step up, because it's not easy. But there's a lot of fruits to that labor of love, so.
I always say that fostering is the most selfless thing that anybody can do, right? And I've heard you talk about your Uncle Fred many times, and it is heartwarming. That's exactly what you said, and that's correct. I think that, you talked about the legislative difficulties, and certainly you're one man, you're one delegate, right? And there are many, and then we've got multiple branches of government, and we've got a whole lot of pieces of the puzzle to put together, so it's a complex problem to solve. But many people, just regular, ordinary, normal people who go to work every day, can help solve this problem. And as a matter of fact, if we had more folks that were willing to just open their heart. I always say what we really need are open hearts, open minds,
Yes.
and open beds. If you've got a couple of kids, if you could add one more. If you have no kids and you sure would like to build your family, we could help you do that. If you are an empty nester or whatever, and maybe you miss the pitter patter of little feet, we can help you with that. So I think about you as a community leader. You have a voice. Maybe I know that you're trying to solve things from a big giant legislative angle, but there are also ways in which maybe you could just inspire folks to think about maybe opening their hearts, their homes, their minds.
No, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we are fortunate enough to be here in Appalachia, in the tri-state, and especially Huntington, West Virginia, where those big hearts do exist.
100%.
That is one of the common threads amongst people here in Huntington. It doesn't matter if you're in the suburbs, if you're in the holler, if you're in the hood, it doesn't matter. People want to help people. And so that is our backbone. And a lot of times people don't know just how easy it is to be able to go out and adopt someone, to be able to take someone into your home and care for them. And I want to make sure that people know that those opportunities are here, and through good folks like OVP. I always brag on OVP that they're not just a business, they're a community partner. Right?
For sure.
And so somebody who's able to put the time, the love, the expertise into a much needed mission, if you will, in our area. I'm super appreciative of that and want to help do everything I can to let the public know about the opportunities that exist right now. And honestly, just the pathway to doing probably what they want to do, which is making sure if they can just take one more person in from our community to help make them a better adult, then we're all going to benefit from that.
Absolutely, and thank you for the kind words about OVP. I've been here for a couple of years now, and I'm always awestruck by the two families, the Hess and Shy family, that own OVP. They're very selfless and kind, and that spreads throughout our entire organization. It really means a lot to all of us. But like you did mention that it's not as hard as you would think, right? I think some people think about fostering, and maybe they see a Hallmark movie or something on TV that touches their heart to some extent, and they think maybe I could do that, and then they think there are all these barriers. We at OVP try to really lower the barriers as much as possible. I mean, we can provide the health care, the dental care, the psychiatric care, the mental health, all of that in-house, right? So we make it very, very easy for people we want to lower barriers so that everyone who is willing and able can help a child in need.
And I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there again is the complexity of doing it, which it's not really that hard, but also just the setup, whether you're in a community or you're out somewhere that's maybe foreign to you. Can you speak to just what we're talking about here today?
When you say in a community, you speaking like rural versus city structures?
Rural versus city, or just being in a home with people with what I call TLC, tender loving care, versus just being maybe in a setting with just all kids or something like that, having a true family structure.
Right. Yeah. If we think about what we do for children, right, we want to prepare children to become adults. Mm-hmm. And so we send them to school that prepares them to be good coworkers, maybe even supervisors and business owners one day, right? We train children to live a normal life. Mm-hmm. When we think about what children need and deserve, and it's often just normalcy, right? So a lot of people have seen the current foster care crisis and thought, let's just build a big building or a big camp in the woods or a big, let's move a bunch of them into one location. Well, when we do congregate care, I mean, that's okay for a short period of time, maybe better than a hotel or an office building for a night or two. But from a long-term perspective, children just crave and deserve normalcy. They deserve to wake up to a family and have breakfast once in a while, or have dinner at a dinner table, or go to McDonald's with their friends, or have sleepovers, play on ball teams, join music groups, just be normal kids. And I know that Fred Hornbuckle helped many, many kids do that, mm-hmm. right? all of us can do that. We can all help children achieve some normalcy if we can open our own hearts and our own homes, whether they're in the middle of downtown Huntington or out in rural Lincoln County or Wayne County. Everybody can help a child achieve and feel love and normalcy. That's a much better alternative than just kind of warehousing children in some far away place so they're kind of out of sight, out of mind.
And that's super important for me, right? To truly understand the difference between what I would call in-home versus congregate care. I mean, at the end of the day, I manage money, I make laws, I coach basketball, that's it. I don't profess to know it all. I just have a super big love for making sure that our best and brightest today, who will become that tomorrow, to make sure we're doing the best we can to care for them now. And so that little bit of education is helpful for me too.
Well, thank you. And again, I think about, even just in movies, right, or television, there are tons of, in sports, of course, there are tons of famous foster kids who didn't have a normal environment growing up, but some family gave them a chance. Some family gave them a chance to play on your basketball team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe some of those kids grow up and maybe they're not playing basketball, maybe they are, and they're doing successful things, and you're now managing their money.
Yeah.
So if we give foster kids a chance and to have some normalcy, they can go from situations where they are essentially tax takers, right, that we as a society are having to pay for their care, to become productive citizens as adults and become fellow taxpayers. And that, from your legislative standpoint, is a win all the way around.
And that's huge for me. I think it's very well noted, my love for Huntington, West Virginia, and the Tri-State for that matter. But I'm in this fight right now to reimagine and to build up our workforce. And we have to do that if we're going to be better for tomorrow.
For sure.
Because make no mistake about it, we can bring all the jobs, all the plants, all the economic development, but if we don't have people that are right here, homegrown, able to take advantage of those opportunities, then none of us will benefit. And there's so much promise in this often forgotten population of people.
Especially foster kids, we're sending them far and wide right now, as opposed to keeping them in our own backyard.
And again, like I talked about earlier, started off with, we have a population decline. Imagine if we are able to keep those folks here.
Right.
And if we're able to care for them, again, it's going to mean they're stronger adults. They're part of the working population. They go to make strong families. Oh, gosh, now we multiply.
Right.
All right. And so it's just one of those things that 1 + 1 = 2. It's common sense. But make no bones about it, it's also an act of love. Right. And I'm leaning on the people of Appalachia, who that is their backbone, to reach out and love another child.
Boy, I mean, active love is a really, I always think about put your money where your mouth is, walk the talk, right? You got to really do the action. Active love is a great saying. We do need that. And I hope that folks would reach out to us, follow OVP Family on all social media platforms. You can call us at 304-999-KIDS. That's 5437. We need foster parents. We need people that will open their minds, open their hearts, and have an open bed or two to help keep our kids here, safe, and living a normal, prosperous life. And I can't thank you enough for helping us share that message.
No, I appreciate you. So remember, open your minds, open your hearts, open your home.